Hi, stationery friends. It's Sarah from Ginger Peachy Pens, and I am just here with an update for you from the spreadsheet video that I shared with you on Friday. Today is Monday, and let me turn off my ring light. Okay, and I know this is kind of awkward. All right, so just real quick, I know that there's a better way to do this by like screen recording or something, but this is how we're doing it. I have added to our ink prices spreadsheet Birmingham Pen Company inks. I feel like I need like a pointer here. Birmingham Pen Company inks. And scroll way down, Sailor inks. So those were the two main ones that I noticed were missing, that people mentioned were missing. So I used, for Sailor, I used Anderson pens. They are a reputable, pen shop, and they had all of the Sailor ink lines. So I used their pricing, the retail pricing listed on their website, and I just wanted to note here that everything is from Van Ness pens except for the Sailor and the Birmingham Pen Co. Prices. So Sailor and up here, Birmingham Pen Co. So I wanted to show you where they fall in the lineup. Here's what's interesting. You can see that Birmingham Pen Co., and I'll see if I can highlight just those. So Birmingham Pen Company inks fall in this less expensive category because, not because, you can see that they're in that blue, that darker blue color, means that they fall at the top of the list. And I'll sort them by price in just a minute. I think what I want to do to make this easy to see is to color this. Let's see, let's do light blue. Birmingham Pen Company. And Sailor is interesting because some Sailor inks are in the darker, well, one of them is darker blue, and then a bunch of them fall into the red. So let's, actually I probably should color all of this, shouldn't I? So we can really see pretty well. I don't know what's going on with my, I'm gonna do these pink. With my spreadsheet, why it keeps kind of jumping funny here. But okay, so let's sort these by price. Sort sheet A to Z. So we can see up here at the top in the blue, which is the least expensive per milliliter, are three of the Birmingham Pen Company inks. This is their two of their Keystone lines, which is their, okay, let me undo this so I can show you actually what I'm talking about. Okay, so Birmingham Pen Company has Keystone. There's 4 Keystone entries here because there were 4 different prices. Keystone is their, like, what they call their like original formulation, their standard formulation. I put these numbers here because there were 78 that were $17, there were 49 that were $19, there were 5 that were $25, and 3 that were $29. And then there were a few more that were on sale that fall outside of that price, but I didn't count those. So, and then they had several special lines, like the Everlasting, which were $35. Twinkle, Twinkle inks came in 2 different prices. Some were $35 and some were $29. And their Wishy Washy were some of the less expensive $17 inks. So that was interesting to me that, like, their standard inks, and if you go look at them, you can see that, like, the ones that the Keystone inks that are more expensive are some of their like color shifting inks and things that look a little more interesting. I don't know the difference between the Twinkle ones, that why that price would be $6 more for a bottle. These are 100 ml bottles, which is larger than most anything else on this list. So for 100 mils, you can see these are all fairly inexpensive per milliliter because you're getting so much ink. So, those of you who said in the comments that BPC is a great price per milliliter, you were absolutely right. So let's look at Sailor really quick, and then I'll sort them by price. Sailor, like I said, was interesting because it has this one, the gentle inks, which is their like standard black, black, and blue, are pretty inexpensive. I mean, 50 mils for $15, falls in that a little bit brighter blue. And then you drop down, their 50 states line is the most expensive at $25 for 20 mils. So I want to see how that compares to the Fairy Tales collection from Ferris Wheel Press, because $1.25 per milliliter is pretty expensive. So, all right, now let's go back and sort, and we will take a look really quickly at the samples as well. So now if we go to the top here, we can see these Birmingham Penco inks fall right under Noodlers, at 17 to 19 cents per milliliter. I know I should have made all of this blue, but yeah, 17 to 19 cents. And the next one is Parker that jumps up to 21 cents per mil. So that is interesting. And for those who don't love Noodler's inks, I know there's a lot of people who don't trust or don't like Noodler's. Birmingham Penco looks like another great brand for some really well-priced inks. But you have to want a lot of ink because they only come, as far as I can see, they only come in 100 milliliter bottles. So you get a lot of ink, which is great as long as you think you're going to use that ink a lot. A couple of the other Birmingham Penco inks kind of fall here in the middle. So 29 cents per mil for some of the other Keystone and Twinkles. And then these more expensive $35 ones, the Everlasting falls at 35 cents per mil, which in the grand scheme is still pretty inexpensive. You can see this is where Sailor Gentle falls, is right here. In these pretty well-priced inks. Monteverde falls right in here. Papier Plume, Troublemaker, like those are all pretty well-priced inks anyway. So the standard Pelican is right here. Sailor, as you move down, the Monyo inks are the second best priced per mil because you get 50 mils in a bottle. But then you have to go way down here to the very bottom to find the rest of these Sailor inks. So the Ink Studio, the Shikiori, the Urameku, and the 50 states, they just know that we're going to love these. And so they are charging a premium. So those Fairy Tales collection Ferris Wheel Press inks are only $21 for 20 mils. And the 50 states are $25. Now they might be a little less expensive on Anderson Pen's site. Let's go see. All right, let's go see Sailor 50 states. So the 50 states 20 mil bottles, yep, are in fact $25. Some of their other Sailor inks were on sale a little bit, so this wasn't the actual price that you paid. But yeah, those 50 states inks are really $25 for that little small 20 mil bottle. Shikiori, I own one bottle of Shikiori ink and I can't reach it. And I own a couple of the Ink Studio inks and I do love them. And again, in the grand scheme of things, like as much as you actually use ink, unless you're flooding your page with it, this, is not going to ruin your life by spending some money on some expensive ink here and there. But man, I just did not expect them all to fall at that very bottom, which is the highest price. So, all right, and then back to the samples. Let's see. Let's do this by brand first. Oh, there are no Birmingham Pen Co. samples. If someone sells them, I did not see that. So here are those Sailor inks. So again, that 50 States is a bright red. The Gentle is the bright blue. So it's really interesting. Anderson pens, I will say, their samples are only 3 milliliters, which is less than Van Ness. Van Ness did 4, but it's still divided out the same way. So it's still, price per mil. So, if we flip it here, we can see that actually for samples, Sailor Gentle and Sailor Magno are less expensive per milliliter than almost anything else. So yeah, those fall right at the top. But then when you scroll down, let's see. Sailor, here's our Shikiori, $1.08 per mil. Ink Studio, $1.25. It's $3.75 for a sample. And then down here, here's again your Ferris Wheel Press Fairy Tales collection is $1.31, and that 50 States is $1.67 per milliliter. $5. This one is more expensive. It's Color Traveler, and actually the Ferris Wheel Press is a more expensive sample, but you get a whole extra milliliter, which, is a small amount of liquid, but it's more than one fill of a standard converter. So with 4 mils, you should be able to fill a standard converter, like 5 times ish. And so with the, so that does make a difference. But yeah, that Sailor 50 States ink is up there in price. So anyway, so these are now in the spreadsheet. I'm going to delete out some of these extra columns and kind of clean this up a little bit, but they're in there. I made the note that they are, from different websites than all the other ones, but it should be the manufacturer's pricing, not the store's pricing, if that makes sense. So, that's what I was looking for, was what is the MSRP for these inks. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Go take a look at the spreadsheet. I will link it again. I think you can leave comments on it. Nobody has left any comments on it, but you can, I think. But certainly you can leave some comments on this video. Tell me what you think. Does any of this have any effect on how you shop for inks? Let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.